In the ancient lands touched by the footsteps of apostles, one story stands out, a tale of doubt, courage, and unshakable faith. This is the story of St. Thomas, the apostle known to many as Doubting Thomas, yet remembered forever as a beacon of belief and boldness. From the bustling streets of Galilee to the distant shores of India, Thomas's journey was one of adventure and spiritual discovery. He faced trials, danger, and moments of deep uncertainty, but his heart was always drawn to the truth of the risen Christ. In this tale, you will walk alongside Thomas through his moments of doubt and his ultimate revelation. You will witness miracles that defied the ordinary, courage that defied the world, and a legacy that carried the light of faith across continents and centuries. Prepare to embark on an epic journey of spirit and soul, where the line between legend and history blurs, and where faith triumphs over fear. Welcome to the story of St. Thomas, the apostle who dared to believe. Chapter 1. The Fisherman Called. Along the restless shores of the Sea of Galilee, where the water shimmered under the golden light of dawn and the gentle breeze carried the scent of salt and earth, lived a man named Thomas. He was a fisherman by trade, his hands callous from years of casting nets and hauling in the silent bounty of the sea. The rhythm of the waves was his constant companion, the horizon his silent dream. But Thomas was no ordinary fisherman. There was a fierce determination in his gaze, a restless spirit that sought more than the simple life his village offered. Beneath his calm exterior burned a fire, an unspoken longing for truth and purpose beyond the ordinary. One day, as the sun rose high over the waters, a stranger appeared on the shore, a man whose presence seemed to bend the very air around him. Jesus of Nazareth, they called him. His voice was calm, but carried the weight of authority, his eyes reflecting a light that seemed to pierce through shadows. "Follow me," Jesus said, his words cutting through the morning mist like a clarion call. Thomas hesitated for a moment, the nets slipping from his hands. This was no ordinary invitation. To follow this man meant leaving behind the safety of the known, venturing into a world of uncertainty and unseen battles. Yet, something deep within him stirred, a spark of courage and faith that refused to be ignored. With a steady breath, Thomas rose and stepped forward. The waves lapped gently at his feet, as if the sea itself blessed his choice. From that moment, Thomas became more than a fisherman. He was called to be a disciple, a witness to miracles that defied the natural order, a companion in the unfolding story of redemption. Yet his path would not be easy. He was a man of bold questions and restless doubts, wrestling with faith and fear in equal measure. Through dusty roads and crowded towns, Thomas walked beside Jesus, watching the blind regain sight, the lame find their strength, and the dead return to life. He heard teachings that challenged every tradition he had known, spoke with strangers who became brothers, and faced dangers that would have broken lesser men. But it was Thomas's doubt that would carve his place in history, not as a mark of weakness, but as a testament to his deep yearning for truth. When others accepted on faith, Thomas demanded to see, to touch, to understand. His question was not defiance, but the restless search of a soul unwilling to settle for easy answers. And when the darkest moment came, the crucifixion of Jesus, Thomas's heart shattered with grief and confusion. How could the one he believed to be the Messiah be taken so cruelly? How could the hope he held be extinguished in the shadow of a cross? Yet the story did not end there. Thomas's journey would take him beyond despair to a revelation that would shake the foundations of the world. This was the beginning of the epic saga of Thomas, the fisherman called, the doubter transformed, the apostle sent forth to ignite faith across continents. His story is not just of miracles and martyrdom, but of the human struggle to find light in the darkest night. Chapter 2. The Doubt and the Touch. The world had fallen silent after the terrible day of the crucifixion. The disciples, once bold and fiery, now hid behind locked doors, their hearts heavy with fear and confusion. Thomas was among them, a man wrestling with a storm inside, a storm of grief, disbelief, and an aching doubt that gnawed at his soul. For days, whispers spread among the followers that Jesus had risen from the dead. Yet Thomas could not bring himself to believe. "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe," he declared with a stubbornness born of sorrow and reason. To many, his words seemed harsh, even betraying. But Thomas was no traitor. He was a seeker, a man demanding proof for the truth his heart desperately longed for. Then, on a quiet evening, as the disciples gathered once more in the upper room, the locked doors swung open. Jesus stood among them, alive and radiant, his wounds a testament to the sacrifice and victory beyond death. "Peace be with you," he said softly. Thomas stared in disbelief, his breath caught in his throat. Then Jesus turned to him and spoke words that would echo through the ages. "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas obeyed, his fingers trembling as they touched the wounds that told a story of love and redemption. In that moment, doubt gave way to faith, and Thomas cried out, "My Lord and my God." This encounter transformed Thomas, not just from a skeptic to a believer, but into a bold apostle who would carry the flame of Christ's message to the farthest corners of the earth. His doubt became a bridge, connecting human uncertainty with divine truth, inspiring countless souls to seek their own encounter with the risen Lord. Thomas's faith was not blind. It was forged in the fire of questioning and discovery. And from that day forward, his footsteps would carry him beyond the familiar shores of Galilee to lands unknown, bearing the light of hope to those who had never heard the name of Jesus. His journey was one of adventure and danger, miracles and sacrifice, a testament to the power of faith born not in certainty, but in the courage to seek the truth. Chapter 3: The Mission Beyond the Seas. After his transformative encounter with the risen Christ, Thomas felt a fire ignite within his soul, a calling that could no longer be ignored. The shores of Galilee, once his entire world, now seemed small against the vast horizon of his mission. The time had come to carry the light of faith into lands untouched by the gospel's flame. Legends say that Thomas journeyed far beyond the familiar seas and mountains of Judea. Guided by divine purpose and unwavering courage, he set sail across the restless waters, toward the distant lands of the East, to the wild coasts and dense jungles of India, a place of mystery and ancient wisdom. His voyage was fraught with peril. Fierce storms threatened to swallow his small boat, hostile tribes eyed the foreign stranger with suspicion, and the unknown wilderness challenged his every step. Yet Thomas pressed on, driven by the belief that the message he carried could transform hearts and lives. Upon arriving in India, Thomas faced immense challenges. He preached in marketplaces, debated with learned scholars, and comforted the oppressed. His words sparked curiosity and hope, and slowly, communities began to embrace the teachings of Christ. Miracles were said to follow in his wake, healing the sick, giving sight to the blind, and even raising the dead. One tale tells of Thomas standing before a mighty king who sought to crush this new faith. With unwavering resolve, Thomas confronted the ruler, his voice ringing like thunder as he proclaimed the truth of the resurrection. Moved by this fearless witness, the king's heart softened, and the seed of faith was planted in the kingdom. But Thomas's journey was not without sacrifice. The forces that opposed him grew stronger, culminating in a final, fierce trial. Tradition holds that he was martyred for his faith, pierced by spears, yet steadfast to the end, a true warrior of the Spirit whose blood watered the roots of Christianity in distant lands. Thomas's legacy lives on, not only in the communities he founded, but in the hearts of believers around the world. His story is a testament to the power of faith that dares to cross oceans, break barriers, and shine as a beacon of hope in the darkest places. This was the tale of St. Thomas, the apostle who journeyed beyond the seas, turning doubt into unwavering faith and fear into fearless devotion. Chapter 4. The Miracles of the Apostle. Wherever Thomas traveled, stories of his miraculous deeds spread like wildfire, carried on the lips of grateful villagers and awestruck witnesses. These miracles were not merely acts of wonder. They were signs of divine power, proof that the message Thomas preached came from the living God. One of the most famous tales speaks of a young boy in a distant village, stricken with a deadly illness that no healer could cure. Thomas, moved by compassion and faith, laid his hands upon the boy, whispering a prayer that seemed to shake the very heavens. Slowly, color returned to the child's cheeks, and strength blossomed where there had been only weakness. The village erupted in joyous celebration, and many hearts opened to the gospel that had brought new life. In another account, Thomas found himself in a town plagued by drought. Rivers had dried, crops withered under a relentless sun, and the people faced despair. Standing on a rocky hill, Thomas prayed fervently, his voice rising above the silence. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered, and rain poured down in torrents, reviving the earth and renewing hope. The people marveled at the power of faith in action. But Thomas's miracles were not confined to healing or nature. He is also remembered for his fearless courage in the face of danger. When bandits threatened a caravan he was traveling with, Thomas confronted them, unarmed but unyielding. Legend says his unwavering faith caused the attackers to flee in terror, sparing the lives of those he protected. Even in the face of his own martyrdom, Thomas's faith did not waver. As spears pierced his flesh, witnesses claimed to see a radiant light surrounding him, a testament to his triumph over death and evil. His final breath was a prayer of forgiveness, a powerful witness to the love that had guided his every step. These miracles became the foundation of Thomas's sainthood, inspiring generations to believe in the extraordinary power of faith. They remind us that even in the darkest moments, hope can shine through, and that one person's courage can change the course of history. Chapter 5. The Martyrdom and Legacy of St. Thomas. Thomas's journey, filled with faith and miracles, inevitably led him to face his greatest challenge, the ultimate test of devotion and courage. As he continued spreading the gospel in distant lands, he encountered fierce opposition from those who feared the change his message brought. Legend tells that in the land of India, Thomas faced a violent uprising. Refusing to abandon his mission, he boldly confronted those who sought to silence him. His courage was unwavering, his faith a shield against the storms of hatred and violence. In one final, epic confrontation, Thomas was pierced by spears, an act meant to end his life and his mission. Yet even as he fell, witnesses say a divine light surrounded him, a testament to the victory of his spirit over death. His martyrdom became a powerful symbol of unwavering faith and sacrifice. But Thomas's story did not end in death. His legacy blossomed like a mighty tree, its roots deep in the soil of the lands he had touched. The Christian communities he planted grew, spreading the light of Christ across centuries and continents. His courage inspired countless believers to stand firm in their faith, even when faced with persecution. His doubts and questions became a bridge for many who struggled to believe, showing that faith is not the absence of doubt, but the triumph over it. St. Thomas is remembered not only as the doubting apostle, but as a fearless messenger of hope, a man who crossed oceans and faced death itself for the sake of the truth he had found. Today, his story continues to inspire, reminding us that the journey of faith is an adventure of the heart, a call to courage, and a quest for the divine light that shines within us all. Thank you for joining this journey through the life and legacy of St. Thomas, the brave apostle whose faith crossed oceans and time. May his story inspire your own path, reminding you that even in moments of doubt, courage and faith can lead to extraordinary adventures. May the light of his example guide you, and may your heart always be open to the wonder and mystery of the divine. Until we meet again, may peace and blessings be with you.